I lived in the heart of a South London ghetto, and I was out DJing one day and I'd forgotten some equipment, so I asked my missus to drive back home and pick it up. She jumped in the Range Rover, went home but couldn't find it. This was before mobile phones, so she drove back to the gig and asked where it could be. I told her and she went to pick it up. The gig had finished now, and she was driving home, and I was tired, so I reclined the Range Rover passenger seat and was half asleep when she suddenly braked the car. I nearly flew out the seat. I looked up and she was startled and looking worried. I heard two men shouting at her, then one said, "Police! Police! Get out of the car!" She got out, but the officers were so focused on her that they didn't see me. The main officer then said, "You're in a high-value car, this is a drug hotspot, and I'm detaining you for the purposes of a search." Now, my girl is one sexy lady, so I wasn't having that. She had on a man's vest tailored to fit her amazing curves and a pair of high-heel Puma trainers. She was visibly shook, so I jumped out of the car to see two plainclothes police officers about to put their hands all over my wife. I lost it, but I remained calm and told them they couldn't search her and they'd have to go and get a female officer to do that. They called for a female officer, and when she arrived, instructed her to search my missus and look for drugs. The female officer looked at the girl's skin-tight vest, dress, miniskirt, whatever it was. It just looked at it and said, "Search where, Gov?" She was a woman, so she understood there was no room left in that outfit anywhere to hide drugs. Like I said, my wife is rambunctious. Anyways, the female officer did a token search and told her, "Gov, there's nothing here, sir." I asked them if they'd finished. They said yes. I looked at the main officer who'd pulled us over and said, "Right, you, round the corner, now." He looked shocked. He wouldn't move, so I told him in no uncertain terms, "You can come around the corner and settle this like men, or you can stand there and I will collapse your windpipe in front of your colleagues." I continued, "Officer, you've offended my manhood. That's my wife. She has to lay beside me in bed tonight, and she has to feel that she's lying beside a real man. You've disparaged her honor and fucked with my manhood. Round the corner, or let's get it on right here, right now." To his credit, the officer walked towards the corner. His colleague said, "Do you want me to come, Sarge?" The officer said, "Nah, it's okay." I walked past him, got around the corner, and got into my fight stance. I was ready to collapse his throat. I'd already assessed his weakness. My missus was right behind me, urging me, "Forget about it, and it's okay." As soon as this officer reached around the corner and out of sight of his other officers, he fell to one knee, put his hands up in the air in a surrender fashion, and blurted out, "I'm sorry! I'm sorry! I'm sorry!" I looked at my wife, and her face was in utter and complete shock. The sex that night was good. Well, after the police left, you know what I'm saying. We went straight to the station and made a complaint. It turns out the officer who apologized was the most senior officer at the station. He came out to take our complaint, realized it was us, and told us that he would put a DNS, a do not stop, on my wife's Range Rover. That worked for 4 days until a racist police officer saw the DNS on his system and decided he wasn't having a black man benefit from such freedoms. But that's a story for another time. All in all, from that interaction with the police, I learned no matter what, make sure you make the love of your life know that she's sleeping beside a lion, an apex warrior, a no-nonsense taking bad motherfucker. So, we urge you to go and buy a few copies of the Stop and Search Survival Guide and share them with friends and family, especially if you've got sons. It's essential to know your rights and stand up against such behaviours. It's time for us to speak out against improper coppers and demand justice for those who have been victimised. Let us know in the comments below what you think about this story, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more stories like this. Until next time, share the video. #ImproperCopper.